Okay, good evening to Miss and everyone here. So today our presentation will be about logical thinking skills is an entry requirement for programmers. So before I start, I would like to introduce myself. I'm Flavian.
I'm Leo.
I'm Hongwu, and I'm Frederick.
Slides. So in my introduction, I'll be talking about logical thinking, builds programming skills, boosts confidence, solve problems, and help write and debug code effectively. So everyone would ask, why do I have a chess there? So quick question for all of you all. Have you all ever watched or played chess before? Okay, so what is the fundamentals of playing chess? Anyone would like to answer? So okay, that's correct. So logical thinking is also one of the ways of planning, strategy, and thinking ahead. So that is the main concept of logical thinking skills, which would be effective in coding, because you need to plan ahead. You have to strategize and think of the best steps to solve the problems. So you have to analyze your situation. You have to consider your options and make the smartest move, so that it would be effective for you to solve certain problems. So now I'd like to pass to Hongwu to continue.
Okay, thank you, Fabian. So now let me take a moment to explain why we will say the logical thinking skill is the most basic and essential skill for any programmers. So many beginners who lack logical thinking will find that it is very difficult to learn programming, simply because they are unable to recognize the rules and the patterns that are at the heart of coding. At its core, programming starts with identifying patterns, and then writing codes follow those patterns. Without the right logic, and no matter how well you write the codes won't run correctly or efficiently. Let me show you a simple example. Imagine I need to write a program that prints out 50 odd numbers. What is the first thing I need to do? I need to figure out the patterns of odd numbers, right? So think about it. What is the patterns behind the odd numbers? The answer is actually quite simple. The odd number can be written as a number times 2 plus 1. In other words, is 2x plus 1. So, if that came into your mind just now, congratulations. You are showing the logical thinking skill ability just now. Once I know this rule, the rest becomes very easy. I just tell the computer to plug in the numbers from 0 to 49 as x, and then it will automatically give me 50 whole numbers. But what if I couldn't identify the patterns of whole number? I have no choice but to manually enter 50 whole number by myself, and that will be a huge waste of time. And then some people might say, if I have enough time, then does it really matter that I use the patterns or not? I will tell you this mindset is wrong. Okay, so let's say I want to make a simple change to the programs so that it will print out 50 even numbers. What should I do? All I have to do is to change the 2x plus 1 and remove the plus 1. And then that's it. The program still works efficiently. So, what if you type 50 numbers by yourself, and you need to go back and change 50 numbers, and that will be that is not only time consuming. It also increases the chance of making a mistakes. Like if you forget to change a single number, the output becomes wrongs. Okay, so by research of the Exromi et al. Exromi et al. Found that students that lack of logical thinking uh, sorry. Experiment and all found that students with lower logical thinking ability runs is very hard to find the patterns of the. Okay, sorry. And then programmers without strong logical skills. Okay. Now I will pass the time to Ziyao to continue the presentation.
Well, I believe everyone is now fully aware of the seriousness of this issue. Then what should we do? Well, in our view, students' logical thinking ability should be trained as early as possible, preferably at the initial stage of programming education. They can also take short courses that focus on logical reasoning, which can help them to stay calm and handle things with ease when they are actually learning programming. Well, you now may want to ask, then what exactly should we students do to improve our logical thinking ability? Well, before answering this, I would like you guys to think about something first. What's the reason that we are encouraged to make mind maps before writing an essay or after learning multiple knowledge points? Well, this is probably because tools like charts and maps can clarify our logic in the most concise way, which means that you can also apply it to our field. In our field, we also have very powerful and widely used tools like flowcharts and flowcharts and decision trees, and so on. By creating this, our logic can be greatly enhanced, so this is one effective solution. Well, after this training is well completed, we can also try to do some pseudocode. Well, I believe many of you here have heard this term before, but can I see a show of hands that how many of you have really did this before? Pseudocode. Oh, it's so good to see, but for those who haven't, you definitely should try it. But why? Why should we try it? This is because pseudocode is a way of writing code in human language. It is a way of, which means that you can use Chinese or English or any other language you're comfortable with. And because of this, beginners will not be influenced by the various and complicated, ever-changing syntax of programming languages. Instead, they can focus on developing solid logical thinking abilities. Well, what you can see on the screen is a piece of pseudocode about a person buying a pack of apple. It may look simple at first glance, but if you have any demands, maybe the price or the quality of the apple, it might become a puzzle that requires a lot of thinking. Well, as you see, we don't even need a textbook. Any simple actions in real life can become a great exercise. Well, if you are still not fully convinced, let me show you a real-world example of a country which starts teaching logic in early stage. Estonia. It's a country which starts teaching logic and computational thinking from primary school, and it has become a digital leader in Europe for many years with strong technology industry and a high number of skilled programmers. Thank you.
Now, I believe that you guys have heard about what's the problem and how we should do for logical thinking skills. Now, so that's it. Look at the two pictures that is on the screen right now. Can anyone tell me what's the difference between these two people? Anyone? Okay.
One is distressed and one's confident.
One's confident, right? One's distressed, right? Now, let's think about it. You're in an IT company, and the company just take out a big project that requires you to use a new coding language. What kind of people would you like to be? The one who's distressed or the one who's confident? Who wants to be the one who's confident? Anyone want to be distressed? Anyone? Nothing, right? No one, right? Because I don't want to be distressed. I wish I could have a perfect skills to handle this kind of big project. I could be confident, I could lead the team, and I could be a usable, profitable worker, right? In this kind of society where IT is kind of very common, so our field is like very competitive. So how do we make how do we make ourselves even more valuable? By having a logical thinking skill. If you have someone who has the same logical thinking skill with you, you can practice and make yourself even higher logical thinking skills, and thus you have a better problem solving skills, and the company will ask, which one of you could solve this for me? If you can solve this, you get the job. But if your opponents can solve it for you, and while you can't, you lose the job. So why? Logical thinking skill is important right now. It's an entry-level requirement for programmers. It is important as it is what we have in our common lives. What we have to do for solutions to every other things, we have to find the solution, we have to trace the source, what is the logic behind the problem. So, with logical thinking skills, you know what's the source of the problem, you can solve it directly without going around with it without solving the source of it. Now, as for conclusion, I hand it to Fabian.
Okay, to conclude our presentation, to be a capable programmer and confident programmer, we should start early and practice daily to build our skills and step by step to be successful to solve any problem that comes our way in our IT field. So this is a great quote that I came up with. Great programmers aren't born, they are built one logical step at a time. That's our presentation. Thank you.